Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of The State here on Wesleyan Television. My name is 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗲𝗏. As always, we pick relevant issues on the train of public discourse and we dilate them dispassionately here on this platform. In case you do not monitor events on the news, yesterday a group of concerned Ghanaians staged a protest as a means of telling SSNIT to as it were, rescind its decision to take their hands off plans to sell SSNIT stakes in hotels to a private enterprise. This afternoon we're going to delve into the government of that issue because we have one of the lead conveners who will be joining us in studio. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Mama, that don't know. But the dead number, dead spices are wood running in every just so. And you never know yet.
If we come your job away, no use dead spices. We don't go job. I don't feel.
Taste the inside. Yeah, the natural spices, Papa Pana.
Noodles soon the way you go, dead spices.
Just the
one. No more dead spices. Baby,
Black, tasting a chicken.
Kaji, go. But dead spices here what Jenny say. Nanya good taste. If we say yeah the natural spices and yeah you're gonna you want all purpose stewed noodles, curry and nutmeg and a jollof. Dead spices taste yummy, taste lemon. Dead spices taste the inside.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240 154825, or 0244 596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known. That's
all right, it's midweek and welcome to another edition of The State here on Wesleyan Television. My name is 𝗟𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗘, and as always, we're going to delve into issues that have a national character and that are pertinent to the overall development and progress of the country. Don't forget that this show is proudly sponsored by the Christian Service University. They insist that where tertiary education is concerned, they are your go-to institution. What are we talking about this afternoon? Well, in case you've not been monitoring events in the news, you would not be aware, but then if you have, you would know clearly that the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, has been on a move. The move is to sell its stakes in some of the popular hotels in Ghana to a private entity by way of Rock City Hotels. The Rock City Hotels also happens to be managed or owned, if you like, by a cabinet minister in the person of Brian Echapon. He's actually the substantive agric minister. Now, from the time this development came to the fore, a lot of Ghanaians have expressed their revulsion with that development. They've said emphatically that, look, it is not right. We are not supposed to be going that way. And yesterday was the climax of the overall reservations, because we had scores and hundreds of citizens pouring out on the streets to stage and express their reservations in that particular respect. This afternoon, we have one of the conveners conveners, and he's going to tell us the reason why they went out in their numbers and what really their concerns are. And so don't go anywhere. When we come back, I'm going to introduce him and we're going to delve into that famous demonstration that happened yesterday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for your patience and you welcome back. It's now time for us to delve into the substance of this afternoon's conversation. The State here on Wesleyan Television is always brought to you by the Christian Service University. They insist that where tertiary education is concerned, they are second to none. And in a very short while, we'll be sharing with you the relevant contacts that you can reach out to in case you want to, as it were, enroll in that fine tertiary institution. It's not in Accra, by the way, it's in Kumasi, but of course, you can always have access to them. Now, I was indicating a while ago that yesterday, some concerned Ghanaians poured onto the streets and they had a concern. The name of the protest is the Hands of Our Hotel Demo, Hands Off Our Hotel Demo. And somebody may want to ask, I mean, what are the hotels in question? What is really the substance of that mass agitation that was widely reported by the press? This afternoon, we are privileged to have in our company one of the lead conveners of that enterprise, 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗓𝗓. He is also the leader of the Ghana Action Network. 𝗟𝗵 is here with us, and we are grateful that we could have him connect. 𝗟𝗵, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Yes, I'm soldiering on.
Right. We also have one of the protesters. He goes by the name Nuruddin Muhammad. In the course of time, we'll be roping in his opinions accordingly. Nuruddin, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very good. Yeah, I'm very good.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. 𝗟𝗵, let me start off with you because you are here with us closely. What is really the bulk of your sentiments, reason for which yesterday you and some of your colleagues had to march to the streets to, as it were, emphasize your points to government?
Thank you very much, 𝗟𝗏𝗃, and let me use the opportunity quickly to say a very good afternoon to your cherished viewers on other social media platforms. I know you are streaming live,
right,
on some social media
YouTube and Facebook in particular.
Okay, so good afternoon to all of them who are on those platforms. Yes, yesterday's demonstration was actually organized by the Honorable 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗓𝗓, an MP I describe as activist MP. Yes, because his activism during his school days till now, I think, has not even died down. Yes, it's still in him. So when he announced that he would be embarking on that demonstration, what we did was to evaluate the basis for his for organizing the demonstration.
That's the Ghana Action Network.
Ghana Action Network. So we did that, I think, the Sunday before the Saturday, the Tuesday that the demonstration took place yesterday. So at our meeting, we did a critical assessment of, his claims. And then we realized that his claims and objective for organizing the demonstration chimed in well with our own objective of consistently holding public officials to that blazing fire of accountability. So we quickly issued a statement and got in touch with him that we will participate in the demonstration vigorously. So we did that, and I think there was a press conference on the eve of the demonstration at the International Press Center, where I spoke and announced to the general public that Ghana Action Network would be participating fully in the demonstration. So 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗬𝗘, the MP for North Tongue constituency, organized the demonstration on 2 things. Okay, so a demonstration was done yesterday to present a petition to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to intervene in the sale and purchase agreement between SNIT and Rock City Hotel, which is owned.
Just before we proceed, were you able to, as it were, present the petition to the
It
president?
was successfully presented to a deputy chief of staff. I think 𝗟𝗓𝗃𝗬𝗘. Somebody I haven't seen it in a long while. So it was presented. I think our objective for organizing or joining the demonstration yesterday was achieved. It was peaceful, successful, and impactful. The turnout was impressively massive. Impressively massive.
So back to the issues. What were the issues really?
So,
what propelled
thank you.
that
So
move
now,
in the very first place?
One, is it right for a public office holder to buy a state asset? That's a moral question. Okay, so constitutionally, is it right for a state official or a government official to buy a state property? So as you speak now, there is some lacuna, constitutional lacuna, as far as this matter is concerned. But there is a remedy for Brian Achiampong's case, this case now. There's a constitutional remedy. The constitutional remedy is simple. Article 78, Clause 3 is unambiguously clear, unequivocally clear. It states that a minister of state shall, mandatory, must not, because per the Supreme Court's definition of shall,
yes.
Shall is must or
So
mandatory.
It's
So
obligatory.
Obligatory, correct. So a minister of state shall not hold any other office of profit or emolument. Okay, whether public or private, and whether directly or indirectly, unless otherwise permitted by the Speaker, acting on the recommendations of a committee of parliament
Set out for that purpose.
set out for that purpose.
But we've heard Brian Achiampong, government functionaries explain consistently that no profit inures to his benefit, and he has not actually reaped, if like, any monetary gains. Even though he's the owner of the hotel, does that not exempt him?
No. He established the company. The company is not a non-profit company. You understand? So there's a pecuniary interest in that. There's a pecuniary interest. You understand? So if you say that you are not reaping any pecuniary gains or money from that entity, it is something you have chosen to do. But what we know companies does is to give you money, to pay you. So even if you are not being paid by the company,
so his willful refusal to take the monies is not up for discussion.
As you speak now, there is no exhaustive, comprehensive, independent investigation to ascertain his claim that he is not deriving any pecuniary benefits from that entity. No such investigation has taken place. So now we can only say that thing and take his claim with a pinch of salt where I sit.
Right.
All right? Because I can see some you know, evasiveness and equivocation in what is in his defense. There's equivocation in his defense. So now, even if he doesn't, granted that he doesn't derive any pecuniary interest in the company, the Constitution is unambiguously clear. The Constitution says that whether public or private, and whether direct or indirectly. You understand? So whichever way he goes, he would definitely be prescribed by the constitutional provision. He is inhibited by this constitutional provision. You understand? Okay, now the moral issue. Is it right for...
So first of all, you've established the legal premise upon which you staged the protest, that the Constitution does not, as it were, allow him to, embark on such a venture.
Yes, correct.
Let me listen to your moral argument before we proceed.
Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 is, by virtue of the portfolio he holds in government,
as a Minister for Agriculture,
as a Minister for Food and Agriculture, by virtue of that position, he is a cabinet member.
Yeah.
Correct. So a cabinet member is privy to all the information that obtains in the officialdom, so to speak. So now, clearly, because he's privy to the information there, he's using his proximity to power to leverage. You understand? He's leveraging that influence to get his company to buy.
Is that not a wild assertion? I mean, the fact that he sits at the critical table of decision making does not in any way put him in that advantageous position.
It is.
Like you are explaining. You would have to explain that, because how does sitting at the table at cabinet meetings in any way puts him at that advantageous position?
Thank you. You and I don't know what transpires whenever cabinet meetings are held.
Absolutely.
We have no idea. You understand?
Except it's reported or it comes out.
Exactly. But 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 can tell us authoritatively that this and this have transpired during this cabinet meeting. You understand? But you and I, we cannot say with certainty that indeed these things have transpired during a cabinet meeting. You understand? So he's privy. That is why I'm using the word privy. So it is something exclusive
to him
and other members of the cabinet. You understand? Or other cabinet members. You understand? So now the gentleman is using his, again, proximity to power.
That point is not clear. How is he using his proximity to power to leverage the purchase? Is it the fact that he has information on the operations of those hotels another person does not have? And if that is the case, you would have to pin it clearly, because how is it that because he sits there, he's in an advantageous position to purchase the companies? Because he's using Rock City to actually get the stakes. If he were not a cabinet member, he could still be doing that, no?
You mean if 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 was not a cabinet member?
He would still be doing that. So how does he sitting there make any difference whatsoever?
You see, so now we are speaking subjectively. Because you say if he was not there, you understand, then he could still be doing what he's doing now.
Absolutely.
That is even hypothetical. The fact is that 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘
is there. Yes, but I'm saying, how does that in any way put him in a place of advantage? For which reason you are raising the moral argument?
Yes, correct. That is why his company is able to get into this agreement with Senate.
Because it's a cabinet member?
Of course, that is, he's using his influence. He's using his influence.
Ramani, do you have evidence to this effect, that he's using his influence to, as it were, get the buy-in of Senate?
But this is not the first time we are raising this thing here. And 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 is keenly watching whatever is transpiring in the media. 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 has never made any attempt to refute or to controvert what we say. We say this with abundance of honesty and conviction that indeed he's using his influence to get this thing done, or to benefit, to make his company buy the state assets. You see, saying this thing, it triggers it triggers some level of disgust and revulsion in me. You understand? That 21st century Africa, people are still, government officials and state officials are still, you know, bent on buying or acquiring state property. If this thing had happened in the past, or it actually happened in the past. I remember the PNDC time when they embarked on that diversity implementation program, where some state assets were sold to NDC people, TNDC members. The difference is that this is not to hold break for those who bought those assets. If it were now, we would be on their necks.
Absolutely.
Thank you. But no cabinet member brazenly bought state assets.
Got involved.
Or got involved. That's the difference. No cabinet member.
Right.
But here, there's a cabinet member, okay, who is using his company to buy our hotels. So now I want you to be using that word, our hotels. Don't try to depersonalize the thing because you are a journalist. No, it's our hotels. So when you're asking me a question about the hotels, don't even use it. Say our hotels. The minister is buying our hotels. Okay.
That point is noted.
It will not be seen as unethical on your part if you say our hotels, because journalism doesn't mean that you should be unpatriotic or you should act like as if patriotism doesn't run through your blood. It runs.
Absolutely.
So take that in and say our hotels.
I'll come to you shortly. Let me come to Dean Yale or Nuruddin Mohammed. He was part of the protest yesterday. Now we have understood, if you like, the basis of the demonstration, why those who are aggrieved decided to pour onto the streets in the very first place. But you were a partaker. You partook actively, just like 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 here with us in the studio. Paint a picture of what happened from the start, from the moment you joined all the way to the finish. How was your experience like?
Okay, obviously, let me first greet you and your cherished viewers. I mean, for this classic production at WTV. Let me commend you for that. But then I think that we should also appreciate the history of this Buhara. I mean, the reason why we are all talking about this and your humble self and I mean other patriotic citizens are also trying to bring you to the limelight. I mean, if you recall, on the 27th of March, Rich Royal Hotel, Vanet, which is the minority shareholder at Rich Royal Hotel, got a letter from Smith. And when they got a letter from Smith wanted them to sell off their minority shareholding, right? And if you remember, I think in 1998, it contravened the agreement in 1990 with shareholders agreement. So Rich Royal Hotel was really angry about the Snake's interest in selling off the shareholding agreement to 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘. Now, what really got me aggrieved was that if you look at the British of the law, I mean, Matt Dramani was talking about there's no evidence to the fact that 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 is the sole beneficiary ownership of the deal. I think that when you go to the Registrar General Department and you pierce the veil about who is the director of the Rock City, it is 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 who is the director of Rock City. It is 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘. So he's a sole beneficiary of this deal. He's a sole beneficiary of the, and he cannot run away from that. I mean, if you read a letter that was dated, I think 11th May by the chief of Elmina, he said he saw 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 at the project site with his investors, which they were speculating, surveying the area with, clearly showing that they have an interest in buying the property. So he cannot run away from that. And the paramount chief issued a letter to the effect to that, and he saw 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘 the site. You know, so yesterday, the reason why the scores of Ghanaians, like myself and my brother 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗘, you know, I saw him there. I was right in front of the demonstration, and the reason why some of us joined was some of these breaches, some of these naked breaches. I mean, how do you tell me that a transaction advisor can just be paid 7.1 million Ghana cedis? I mean, 71 billion for transaction advisor, and even with that, I find it very, very obvious. I find it very, very problematic because if you look at 𝗟𝗵𝗙𝗘𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗘, she is the CEO of Venture Capital Trust Fund. And she, if you look at Venture Capital Trust Fund, is an agency under the Ministry of Finance. And this same person is also the head of 𝗟𝗵𝗃 Capital. And, you know, clear conflict of interest. It's a clear conflict of interest. And if you look at their claim that Labadi Beach was not making any profit, it's a barefaced lie. Look at their financial statement as recent. They were making a profit of almost about 158 million Ghana cedis. I mean, Labadi Beach Hotel paid dividend to government, 25 million Ghana cedis last 2 years, 10 million Ghana cedis last year. And Brother 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗘, if you look at the 6 hotels that they wanted to sell for him, he realized that Busia and Trustworld was not making profit. So they chose 4 out of 6. You know, and it even makes it more disgusting that Article 284, which clearly points out that a government appointee should not put himself into a conflict of interest situations, was clearly, you know, breached.
Right.
And while you were asking a question to 𝗟𝗵𝗙𝗘𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗘 that what makes him eligible as just a mere cabinet minister, what makes it eligible that he has some information about this deal and he will benefit from this deal. I mean, when you look at insider information, look, let's even go to Parliament. There's a reason why Parliament has a committee where if you're a member of Parliament and you want to hold any office of profit,
personal venture, they'll interrogate the issue. And
if you want to hold an office of profit, you have to write to the speaker,
right, to
get the permission of the speaker. And you see, that committee is not just a weak committee, like or maybe some light committee, because the committee is headed by the second deputy speaker. And if you check the records, it is only 46 MPs whose name is in the registry that they are MPs and they are holding office of profit. And when you check all the names, Brian 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗘𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗃 name, it's not there. So clearly, some of these things infuriated some of us, and we joined the crusade. You know, and I really was impressed about the turnout. You look at from organized labor, from women, from political parties, and interest groups, and you know, other groups like Mr. 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗘𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗃's group, Mr. Bernard Mona, and all those people. I mean, you realize that people were angry. People are angry about this state capture, and it's about time all of us should, you know, bear our teeth to this government.
Right. I've heard your preliminary comments on this matter, and effectively they tie into the concerns that 𝗟𝗏 has raised here in the studio. But 𝗟𝗏, I want us to look at another leg of the conversation, which is of importance to this entire subject. It's about the profitability of, if you like, state-owned enterprises. That is the basis of Brian's argument. Well, the facts do not support it. I mean, I have seen the documents that the Honorable 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗘𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗃 has put out. Clearly, it is not a case that the entities in question are not profitable. But then it brings another issue to the fore, that state-owned enterprises are not properly managed, if you like, and that is why anybody may want to, you know, as it were, embark on a venture of this sort. But even if they were not profitable, this clearly it doesn't look like the right way to go. What then would you recommend in such situations? If we ever find out that, look, maybe we have ABC outlets that are not doing well, if people like Brandon Champon feel that we can support and the law bars them or morally they are proscribed, what else can we do?
Thank you. You know, there's this argument always that is championed by some people especially those with capitalist leanings, they always champion this thing that, the state is not a business of the state to be in business. And then they always use how private entities do much better than public entities. That argument, if you are not that sophisticated, you would be swayed by that argument. When we queue to elect our leaders, as part of the package that they promise us, is to also run our state institutions well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, if our state institutions, let's say under a particular government, the state institutions are not performing, then it should be something that should be blamed on the leader, because everything rises and falls on leadership.
Right.
You understand? There has been a deliberate effort, call it systematic, effort on the part of our political actors to run down state institutions and use their cronies to buy them. Then they benefit. You see, what I'm doing, I am being consistent. I remember 2008, when the 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 administration decided to sell Ghana Telecom to Vodafone.
Right.
I was in the streets. Myself, Mr. Pratt, 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘, and 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘, Mr. Pratt, Honorable Haruna Idris, who was then the NDC National Youth Organizer.
By then,
We were in the streets. We protested. I remember we were doing this. It coincided with the Free Chikata movement. So we were doing leafleting one Sunday at 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗏 Circle. So we decided to take a walk, myself, Kwesi Pratt, and 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 to the Ghana Telecom area. We're doing the leafleting. When we got there, apparently the government, through Vodafone, promised the workers at the time that some juicy severance package. So for them, they loved the deal that Ghana Telecom should be sold to Vodafone because of what they stood to benefit. So we got there, and they sacked us. Even though we're not there to talk about Vodafone and Ghana Telecom, no, we were just doing leafleting. So that was the kind of, mindset, how they psyched the people up against us. Look, Ghana Telecom was sold to Vodafone. Eventually. I was pained with them. So I was banking my hope on the fact that the kind of promises that the NDC made, they told us that they will revoke. That was the word they used. They will revoke the agreement. So that thing got some of us so encouraged, and we became so more enthusiastic to fight for the NDC to come to power, so that agreement will be revoked. NDC came to power, then they told us that, we're looking at the nature of this agreement, it's simply irrevocable. So please, let's continue. I became disappointed in them, and especially the one through whom that announcement was made. But later I realized that he was only used to make that announcement. One of the weaknesses of politics, especially party politics. So the same thing is rearing its ugly head now. And now, at the time we're doing that thing, my voice was not as loud as it is today. Correct. But I was that consistent, involved in the fight. Correct. If somebody propounds the argument that state institutions are not doing well, so they should be sold or they should be privatized, if somebody support that argument today, then obviously it shouldn't be Labadi Beach Hotel. It shouldn't be La Palm Beach Hotel. Nuruddin has just taken you through their financials. They look good. You understand?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's clear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
So, a state corporation that is not doing well, obviously is STC. So somebody who claims that he has that superior managerial skills, the person should
turn the fortunes of
go and buy
those ones that are rather sinking.
Thank you. Those ones that are sinking, go and buy them and show that superior managerial skills And your name may even enter the Guinness Book of Record for turning the fortunes of that company around. But if you are unable to go for those ones, then you are just using. You see, government is just using you or some elements, element in the regime. You know, this government. I don't call this a government as administration. Yes, for obvious reason, I don't address this one.
I'm interested in that because of
I don't address this very government as administration because in a political setting, a government government setup should be called administration. But what has taken place within the last 7 years, this very government will not pass as an administration. This is a regime. You know, this Wesleyan TV, so I'm careful because it has some Christian word behind it. So I'm quite inhibited by my choice of words. So I'm not using. Otherwise, this government it's a kleptocratic regime. You understand? Being superintended by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. They are not in for our interest.
Let's return to the substance of
bro. If you say that state institutions are not doing well, so you want to offload the shares, the shares that the state has in that thing, to a private entity, you have failed. Because it was even part of why we voted for you. So if you are telling us that the state institutions are not doing well, so your solution or your antidote to that thing is to sell those state institutions, you have failed, and therefore you must be kicked out. Yes. So you see, all these things are bringing something to the fore. That when we take a decision to go and vote for people, we should weigh them. You understand? Subject them to that merciless scrutiny. You
before
understand?
We cast
before we cast our vote. Because casting your vote comes with a lot of implications. You understand? That is what we are reeling under today.
Let me go to Nuruddin and then we get to if you like perhaps the final leg of the conversation. Nuruddin, 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗘 has reiterated basically the same narrative around this issue, that indeed the hotels in question are profitable, therefore it does not make sense for anybody to want to sell them off, and all of that ties, he believes, into the culture of politicians capturing the state, if you like, or amassing wealth and other properties for themselves. How do you think we should approach developments of this nature? Yes, you've been part of a protest, but beyond the protest and moving forward, how do we nip issues like this in the bud?
Okay, that's why I support honorable member of the North Tongu, 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗘 that we should introduce a private members bill to Parliament to restrict politicians from just getting pounds on our assets. So I support him fully. I mean, I think I'm drafting something, my input to that private members bill to support him, so that we should push that agenda and make sure that not only this government, I mean, subsequent government should be tied. I mean, should be controlled about how insider information, because of our proximity to power, we can just breach all kinds of procurement laws and get away with it. So I will support that private members bill. But I also think that it's about time we should also look at our asset regime very well. I've been calling for asset declaration, not as in the one we are doing now. I mean, why should you be in a country where people only declare their assets but they don't declare their liabilities? Because a guy must be wearing one t-shirt. You may think that's his only asset, but he's owing. So asset is seen, but liability are not seen. Because it will interest you to know that Rock City that we are hailing them are even making losses. If you check the records, Rock City is making losses. And this loss-making venture is now claiming to be having all the financial powers to resurrect a dying entity. So I think it's about time we should all come together and have a conversation. And you see, when issues about this comes up, we shouldn't narrow it down to only a political, kind of conversation. But we should make it a national conversation. We should make it look like, no, as for this one, this is our brother.
Exactly.
Everything, you know.
Ghana at large.
Ghana at large. Because at the end of the day, we are still contributors. Okay? We are still contributors. And if today, a very well-thriving venture like Labadi Beach Hotel, which the valuation has put in it to $8.4 million, and somebody is just offering a package $7.3 million to acquire a valuation that is, I mean, that's the less price, $8.4 million. I think it's very ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. You know, and you see, Brian has an option for 6 hotels. He should be telling us why did he refuse to buy the Busia and the Trust Lodge. You realize that the Busia and the Trust Lodge is not working. Busia and the Trust Lodge has been making losses, and all has become a managerial issue. You know, Honorable Okujeto made a revelation that the Latam Royal Beach Hotel, the reason why they started making losses was that the acting director who came said that they should pay him $18,000. Imagine, we should take our money, $18,000, and be paying because you are acting as a manager. You know, so this political game of, you know, because you see, you can never sell 6 Smith hotels without the issue going to cabinet. The issue must go to cabinet. And Brian, as our Greek minister, is a member of the cabinet, is a cabinet minister. And he can't convince me that he didn't have an insider information before he went. Because you see, on 27th March.
Dean, before we proceed, I want to take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, then we get to the final layer of the conversation. So you continue from the point we're going to make after 27th March, then I come to 𝗟𝗏𝗏. But it's important for us to indicate that the views and the opinions of our panelists do not constitute the stance of this particular platform, WTV. That clarity has to be put out. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Don't call me. Ghana for Methodist Asafoma. WTV Enyamfienu 5 years. Hooray! Na enam emfienu mafidida. WTV ABNT. Or yet don't call me promo. And say, so we are Methodist Asafoma. Now what business? And I do could be our person bomu deura. WTV say, yeah, baby cat, or you kuno, and as we got on, you know, ya bomu deura now what you mean 2 weeks at the amount 500 Ghana cedis pay. And I'll bet ya, way a yakwanya, WTV Airfaso at the other was to say, what time the chi? I'm my room pempenswa and never dream. Yanuti, Methodist Asafoma, Mumaku, Mupesa Mubamu Deuru, Muntutumrika, Namumrai, Fred WTV, Nani Penfoning Como, Emfa don't call me promo 0593 110733, and now WhatsApp 0256 253461. WTV, reaching out to the world.
Sorry, not sure.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Get ready for a transformational morning experience.
Sorena Shrine is here to build our spirituality, mental and physical well-being.
Through positive, inspiring actions and stories.
We bring you exciting activities and conversations that develop us as a people and as a nation.
We take a look at the trending issues in Ghana and the rest of the world.
And we also review the impacting stories from our local newspapers.
Every morning, we bring you stories of hope, change, and renewal.
We empower you through the Word of God and provoke you to live the purposeful life destined for you.
Join us, Anita Kwaku
and the Reverend 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Agbamanya, Monday to Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we take you on an inspiring journey, live and exclusively on WTV.
You may also join us on Facebook at WTV Ghana and on YouTube at Wesleyan TV Ghana.
Sorry, not sure.
Wake up to a purposeful.
Serena Shrine is brought to you by
Danwell Insurance, multi-credit savings and loan,
and the Methodist University Ghana.
All right, thanks for your patience. We've gotten into the closing numbers of this afternoon's conversation. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are discussing the just ended hands-off hotel demo. It's a protest that had scores of Ghanaians pouring to the streets to tell SNIT and government at large that the move by the substantive Minister for Food and Agriculture to buy certain hotels where SNIT has stakes in is not a move that is liked, and therefore, of course, government should, as it were, apply the brakes in that respect. 𝗟𝗵𝗻𝗃𝗓𝗏 was part of the conveners, and he specifically is the leader for the Ghana Action Network. 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗓𝗏 is also a social activist, and he too was part of yesterday's protest. Now, in the next few minutes before we wrap up, 𝗟𝗏𝗻, I want to come to you. You've submitted a petition to the president. You have indicated here on this platform that it was well received by a government functionary, and we are hoping, I mean, in the spirit of democracy and good governance, that government would heed your concerns. In case that does not happen and the move you consider insensitive finally materializes, what are you going to do? Because yes, we've seen a lot of petitions that never saw the light of day. So
thank you.
If yours is a part.
Thank you, 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏. I belong to a pressure group, and what obtains in pressure groups are quite distinct, or it's distinct from what happens in political parties. You understand? A pressure group, we have our interest and we fight. Ghana Action Network, the name itself, is an action-oriented group. So there's a bit of radicalism in that group. Yes, we are not ashamed to say it. It's a radical group of Ghanaians who are fed up with the status quo and want something done. It's a group that is made up of Ghanaians who are impatient to see this country progress. So if the government doesn't heed the call, that noble call on them to rescind the decision to sell these hotels, I don't know what Honorable 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏's stance will be, but I know he's an activist. But who will take a radical stand? It will never happen.
When you say a radical stand, are you able to put clarity to it? I mean, what exactly are you going to do?
No, but that is the stage we have come to now. Now, using this, democratic tools, conventional tools, to be fighting a system that is resistant to those democratic tools, then you need to also develop new tools to fight that system.
Those new tools must still conform to what the law prescribes. Absolutely.
Does the law say that politicians should be greedy?
No, of course, but
does the law say that politicians should be selling state assets to themselves? The law doesn't say that. So we can also be doing things that the law doesn't say, where we are all
you are going on a lawless path if your concerns are not heeded.
It is not a lawless path. It is a progressive path.
Can you specifically state before I come to
the progressive path is this. The country is heading toward an irreversible path of decay and decline. They are using things that look like democracy. So that's a sham, it's a charade. And you consistently using democratic tools to bring the people back, that the path we are going now, it's not a path that will lead or will inure to our benefit.
That point I'm saying is well noted.
Yeah.
And,
so now,
for those who do not know you,
the land on which those hotels have been built, they belong to who?
They belong generally to Ghanaians. No, you may want to say the Ghana people.
There's a regime that regulates land in this country. So if a government acquires land for a particular purpose, and the government in future decides not to use the land for that purpose, what happens? So if the hotels are sold to Brian Champo should take the hotels, and you should take the hotels from the land to where he comes from.
I do not understand.
You don't understand.
So, but I want to
Labadi Beach Hotel. Where is Labadi Beach Hotel?
Just a second. I want to put this clarity for those who do not know you. It is important to indicate that your stance is not partisan. Indeed,
it is not.
across board.
Yes.
We have heard you. Make this.
Yes.
Amplify this consensus over time. That's important. And that is the more reason why I am probing that if indeed, your stance is patriotic across board, you cannot be using wrong means to, as it were, look for the right things. When you say that you would move away from the unconventional methods, that's a cause for concern, and it's important. Then we go to
it is illegal to climb ECG poles.
Absolutely.
Okay, but do you know there are times where you can climb the ECG poles and cut cables if there's maybe a life in danger?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes. So that's it.
Let's
so
leave it here at the level of the proverbs.
The Labadi Beach Hotel is on a garland. Okay? That distinction must be made clearly that it is on garland. Okay? So if Brian Achiampo, through this kleptocratic system or regime,
you use that word is used advisedly, and we dissociate from it anyway.
I am dissociating your station from this.
Okay.
Okay? Any legal action that will be instituted because I characterize the regime as a kleptocratic, corrupt regime, I am ready to bear it. That your station should be distanced or dissociated from this. They are my opinion, and I say this with utmost conviction that it is a corrupt, kleptocratic regime. So Labadi Beach Hotel is on Garland. So Brian Achiampo obviously comes from a place. He's a native of a place. So if Brian Achiampo, through this regime, buys that hotel, for instance, Brian Achiampo should only be asked to remove those edifices from the land and take them to where he comes from.
But that's practically impossible. But
is it? So what will happen? So what will happen? You saw the Wolomo yesterday. You saw him?
Who?
The Wolomo.
Yeah.
You saw him. He sounded livid. He looked and sounded livid. His anger was an incandescent one. It was a blazing anger. The Wolomo. Okay? So if this government is that tone deaf, then it means that it's a government that radical action should be taken against. Because you cannot be that tone deaf to even Wolomo's cries.
Nuruddin, let's come to Nuruddin, because your point is well noted. What's the name of the group again? Ghana Action Network. Indeed,
Ghana Action Network.
You're amplifying the values of your group. Nuruddin, really
to make this country progress and accelerate our development.
Nuruddin, if no response comes, after the your petition, and then the status quo is maintained, what more would you advocate is done to ensure that your concerns are heeded?
Okay, we wish that to drive.
Nuruddin, can you reposition yourself? Your voice is.
Okay.
Yes. I think it's better now.
Okay. What I would say, the thing that I think that
it's unfortunate, but I think Nuruddin, we are unable to hear you clearly in our studios, and unfortunately we are behind time. So in 30 seconds, your concluding remarks, and we are out of here.
Okay, let me say this thing to the president directly. Nana Adodenko Akufo-Addo. Mr. President, I represent a group, Ghana Action Network. I am a leading member of Arise Ghana and the convener of Justice for Ghana. Mr. President, we are in touch. We know what is happening on the ground. You are within a democratic setting. You were elected through the ballot box, not through the gun. So on the basis of that, approval rating is what you would use to know whether your government is still popular, your policies are popular. Mr. President, I am using this occasion to tell you that intervene in this matter to get Senate to rescind the sale and purchase agreement between Rock City that is owned by your appointee and Senate. Mr. President, use your executive power to abrogate that agreement. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And I'm sure the same sentiments were articulated in your petition. We are hoping that indeed this cause would, see the light of day. Here on this platform, we have to state emphatically that the comments and the opinions of our discussants do not constitute our views in any way, as much as we believe that the country should be on a forward path of progress. My name is 𝗟𝗏𝗦𝗁𝗘. It's been a lovely afternoon. But just before we go, let me just throw this in, that as we're preparing ourselves for the 2024 election, a number of interesting developments have come up. Today, for example, we've seen that the National Democratic Congress has constituted its campaign team, and then just when the discussions were becoming rife, we would also see that the New Patriotic Party has also, if you like, brought out a survey on who best is preferred to partner the party's flag bearer to win victory for the party. That research is something that I'm sure that later on we may want to touch on. So all is well and good, and would urge all stakeholders and political actors to, as it were, amplify peace as we get into the 2024 general election. We'll meet again on Friday. It's been a pleasure having you. Bye-bye.